Goldboys Live, Pick It Sports Sleeper Picks. We got a game 5 tonight, breaking it all down. The usual cast of characters: Brad, Thomas, Brian versus the Books. Josh, who we just found out is in Belgium. And if any listeners out there are in Belgium, just hit up Josh. He will pick up your tab. He let you know. So, boys, we got a game tonight. Let's just start because we talked about this game tonight, last night already. Yesterday, we covered it. So let's just go around the horn. Your best bet. I'll start with you, Brad. Your best bet for this game tonight.
First, I want to say I hope everyone was able to get in that Jason Tatum threes. It's gone. It's off the board now, which is good.
Oh, wow.
That's from the last show. I don't actually have a best bet for the show, so can I just talk about my sleeper play real quick?
Sure.
My sleeper play here is entwined with this game. Two players are from this game, so we'll start with the hockey play first. Rope Hintz over 2.5 shots on goal. He didn't hit this in the last game. I'm not really worried about that. I expect that they're going to be aggressive being in the hole down 3. I think he's going to be firing pucks, just boom, boom, boom. I probably will take him to score a goal, maybe an assist. I didn't look at the assist price, but I mean, he's going to be very aggressive. He's been great all postseason. And for the NBA, Derek White over 12.5 points. I like Derek White he's made 3 threes in 3 games. That alone right there is 9 points. And now with this Brogdon stuff, it's Harry Hall just buried a chip in birdie for anyone who has first round leaders. Sorry, I just saw a ball going in, got really distracted. He's now 7 under. Anyways, Derek White been super aggressive, especially last game. And I think coming back at home, he's going to shoot even better than he is. I don't think he missed a 3 last game. And then Caleb Martin over 12.5 points. Without Gabe Vincent, this line obviously is going to move, but I liked it with or without Vincent, averaging almost 19 points per game in the postseason. He's been killer from 3, volume and time. He's going to play about 28 minutes. He's taken like 7 threes per game. When you have that kind of volume, you're going to be able to have the opportunities to score. So again, that's Hintz over 2.5 shots on goal. That's Dallas versus Vegas in NHL. Derek White over 12.5 points and Caleb Martin over 12.5 points.
Like that. One of our sponsors, Sleeper Picks, and that wraps up the show. I think we talked about a lot there. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Less is more.
Yeah,
what you got, Brian? Give us a winner. Come on.
Honestly, yesterday I think we kind of talked about a lot of this about this game and how I think we all kind of favor maybe Miami on the spread, but I think Boston wins the game. And the price from the bet I talked about yesterday has dropped, and I did fire it. I took Jason Tatum double and a win on FanDuel. It's plus 104. And I just think that's one of those spots where if I'm getting plus money for a guy that's rebounding the ball as much as he is and is playing as many minutes as he is, and
what did he have last game?
He had 11.
11,
but,
yeah, he led the game.
Yeah, he was a game leader. So, and it's also one of those things where his 10.5 is juiced to minus 130. I like the idea of double, and you can get saved if he has a good assist game, which is always possible. So, I just think it's getting that plus money. I'd probably play that up to like minus 125. I think that's like a fair price, but I like that look.
It is. It's a fair price because the fact that they're 8-point favorites, and so you get a money line bet with him to get 10 boards essentially is what you're saying. Like, sure, that makes total sense with the juice that you get for that. I thought it was like minus 110 when we were talking about it the other day, but I guess it's up to plus money.
Like, yeah, and that's where I'm so for it. And also I would also like I said, I think minus 125 is as far as I'd go. I think that's like a fair price because
I played at minus 125.
Yeah, I think it's also one of those things where if he's getting rebounds, you assume that means Miami's missing. So there's some correlation there where if he's racking up boards, you hope it's a lot of bricks. And sure. I think Miami is going to miss Gabe Vincent a little bit more than people realize. He's actually been a great role player for them, especially when you're relying on all role players. So I do favor Boston in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, I mean, I'm kind of just on the stars, and then I'm really on. There's a few guys too, but it's mostly props. Like if you're just talking about this game in general, though, if you just want like a game line or total type of bet, I love Miami over 103.5. I actually think they're fine to kind of get back. The 99 points they scored last game to me was more of the anomaly, honestly. I mean, I have so many games to go on in these playoffs where they're hitting, 47% from 3 is ridiculous, but even 40% from 3 with these role players, and on the road they're better, which is wild. And that's part of what I love about it is this Miami team on the road. It's like 9 games now that they played on the road in this postseason, 10 maybe, and they're averaging 117.5. They're like one of the few teams that's scoring more on the road in the playoffs. So the 103.5 is like they've blown that number out every single game that they've played on the road. I think the fewest points they score is like 111 or something. So the 103.5 just seems way too low for them. I'm not really like buying Boston's defense. I mean, there were fewer uncontested shots for the Heat in this last game than that we saw all the previous games for sure. I think there was like 30 uncontested shots, which is like where there's no one within like 6 feet. And in the other 3 games, they were having numbers like 60 shots that were uncontested as they move the ball around the key. So obviously the Celtics brought it a bit more, but as far as that goes, that'll be my favorite one. And just to throw it out there too, like I'm right back on Grant Williams, somebody that we were talking about today a second ago, and then we were also talking about him heavily yesterday because he was at 4.5 before they took it down and put it back up in some places, still only at like 5.5. And now you were saying, well, it's down to like 6.5. So like easily love that. We were talking about it at 10 points as an alternate line on FanDuel as well.
Yep. Since you mentioned Williams, for whatever reason, and this to me is one of Missoula's big mistakes, he didn't play at all in game 1, no minutes. But since then, 9, 14, he spaces the floor. I know people don't like him. He's an instigator. He talks a lot for a role player, but to me, he's a useful player. He provides some shooting, some spacing. The two big lineups with Horford and Rob Williams have not been effective. So to me, he's going to get the usage. He's going to get the looks. I would go Boston team total over points. I'm totally with you on the Williams, and you can get a plus 180 at FanDuel to get 10 plus down from plus 190. I'm not opposed to some alternate lines with Williams. Like if he scored 13, 15 points on it, I wouldn't be shocked. I think he could have a big performance, but I think Boston made a concerted effort to do a couple things in game 4. Push the pace, run after makes, run after misses. They were go, go, go. And get their three-point attempts up. Sometimes it's just about getting the attempts because they're a good shooting team and you just need the volume. And you saw game 1, they had 29. They slowly went up to 35, 37. They got 45 attempts up in game 4. They hit 18 of them. They got 40%, which is sort of a magic number for them. So I think at home they'll shoot it better. I know this is famous last words. I would be shocked if Boston lost again tonight. I mean, I know home court has meant nothing in these, these Miami-Boston games. They've been good on the road. They've been bad at home. Miami really going to beat them 3 times in a row in Boston? I'd be surprised.
No.
If it happens, that puts if Boston wins this game like I guess we all kind of expect, that puts a ton of pressure all of a sudden on Miami in game 6 because, man, if you're walking into that building Monday night, game 7, after blowing a 3-0 lead, good luck coming out with a win if you're Miami. So things are getting interesting quickly. I like Boston
real quick, Will,
over points.
Like,
go ahead. Yeah.
How would you play that? Like, are you hitting a money line bet of like minus 300, or are you taking points for the Celtics
for the game tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, I have Tatum 12-1 to win conference finals MVP, which is a proxy for Boston to win the series. There's no way he doesn't get it if they win. And I have Boston 8-1 to win the series. So I'll probably I'm going to take Miami plus the points just as a little get me to game 6. Game 6, I'll take Miami. That'd be interesting. What is the Miami line going to be? Because Miami was getting 4.5 game 3, but they were laying 1.5 in game 4. So that's a 6-point, probably.
I think if they lose tonight, and
if they
lose,
win tonight, there is no game 6, Brad. You know how the series.
Well, I was setting up for the next part.
I'll be honest,
Brad's
learned a lot on this show. He's really coming into his own. It's been great to watch.
If they lose by margin,
okay,
I think they set it as like the Celtics maybe a 2.5 point, 1.5 point favorite, and it also depends on the availability of Vincent.
Yeah. So you're saying if they cover though tonight, but they lose, that it'll still be a smaller. They might be favored.
They might be favored slightly.
Yeah, I do think they'll be favored by a point. Again, when you're talking about a point, what difference does it really make? But I don't think Miami will be favored, especially if Vincent, like, ankles don't heal overnight, and that's a big thing. Eventually, like, you're Miami. I know it's a good story that eventually, like, you run out of bodies, and there's not a lot of margin for error. I think Butler assist was a good play. I missed the 5.5. I'm so frustrated because it was 5.5 for Butler assist. Now we're seeing 5.5 really juiced. There's some 6.5 at plus money. I don't know that I want to play that, but I do think Butler will play more point guard with Vincent out. I don't know that Lowry can handle the minutes.
No, I don't
think going a bunch of different directions here, but I don't know. I just got a feeling Boston. Look, I don't trust them to lay the 8. It's 8 in most spots here. I'm going to take the 8 with Miami as a hedge. If Miami covers and Boston wins, that would be a hell of a night for me, as I'm sitting here with 8-1 and 12-1. So I don't know. Anything else? Any feels for any other props here we haven't covered?
So I actually I want to build off that and pose it to you guys that we all talk about Gabe Vincent out and, like, running out bodies. Their rotation is going to be so short if this game is close going into the fourth, would you live bet Boston just out of pure?
100%.
Yeah, is that okay? That's
No, I don't trust them in a close game. I
don't
don't
either,
trust
but
them.
like
these guys are gonna have a lot of tread on their tires.
yeah,
Like
that's
a lot.
I think it'd be a field thing, but if it's a tie game, say going into the fourth, and like you're getting like Boston in a pick 'em, like or like a -2, 2.5, I think I would look for it only because
Butler
of the
terrifies
fact.
me.
Yeah, he does. No, then that's the only thing is. But like, you're telling me if they're entering the fourth quarter and Larry's already at 30 minutes and this guy's already at 32, like I would think about it at the very least.
I mean, what's the score in this scenario?
I'm saying like if it's like about even and you can get like
Yeah.
say -2.5.
I'm kind of going the other way, honestly, just because of what Will said. Like, I'm taking Jimmy Butler, and I'm still remembering the smirk that he gave at the end of the post game of Game 4. Like, I buy into that. I buy into him going like, I'm gonna go home and sip some wine. I'm really not worried about it. So I'm kind of buying into that for this game. I'm still sort of staying away from that. Like, if you're talking about live betting this game, honestly, like I was looking more at that in Game 4, and it really didn't work out the way I thought it might. So I stayed away from it too. But more so, just like playing off of Gabe Vincent being out. And knowing that, like, I think Strus is prime for another big game because he has to. And Duncan Robinson, like it was hard to find props for him for a while. But if you can still get him at a low number, like if he plays 20 minutes, which he probably has to.
Will. He probably has to. I mean,
yeah, he has to. So, but that means Strus is playing his normal 35. I'm not really worried about the Heat like conditioning, just to like touch on that point. But I'm more like way interested in just like I've got a lot of props tonight, which also just made me go, oh, okay, you like the over because you're not taking very many unders here. So I guess I'm hitting over 215.5 on top of that 103.5 for the Heat.
I like that. And I was going to say to mention, I don't usually take any sides in my props. Like if I like this Tatum double in a win, I usually stay away from money lines. But I will say if anyone was like, I was playing around with it, you can get 25 points and 10 rebounds at -120 on DraftKings if you want to go that route. That's what I played last time. So if you wanted to avoid any side, but I think it's one of those things where if I lose this prop because of the side, I go down with the ship. I go down with the team that's been,
Yeah.
like you kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you'd accept it. It's like, like Josh, we took LeBron. It's like, okay, he's gonna play 48 minutes. He's either gonna get the already or he doesn't. Like, but you go down with the ship. That's how I'm feeling with Boston. Like if they lose and they don't show effort, then I'll take the -1 unit and move on with it.
How about we were sitting here the other day? It's 3-0 Miami. Miami's favorite in Game 4.
We were writing them off.
And now, no, I wasn't. I don't think you were either.
I wasn't writing them off.
Were.
I was just like wasn't ready to pay plus 800 for the line. That's more like what was going on in my brain.
You would love to have a plus 800 right now.
Dog, yes, I would.
But here's my point. It was 3-0 Miami's favorite at home in Game 4, and now we're here a day or two later. Boston's plus 450 to win the title. Miami's plus 400. They basically have the same odds to win the title. I mean, is there any value on any of these teams to win the title? Denver -205, Heat plus 390, Celtics plus 450. Obviously, it comes down to what you think of tonight and the rest of the series. Boston, you could have gotten 16-1 to win the title on Tuesday, which I thought about, but I was like, you know what? I'm already jamming the kiosk with Tatum bets, with Boston bets. I don't really trust them to add a plus 1600. And again, that's one I wish I did, not to kick myself too much because I got enough on Boston, but I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on these numbers?
It's so crazy to think that we don't even know the matchup. And Denver was at -280 before last. Yeah, but before Boston won, they were like almost -300. See, I don't know. I think it's one of those games where I know everyone's talking about how like Game 6 is a big game in Miami, but we talked about it so many times. If Boston wins tonight, like I think you wouldn't hate having a plus 450, a plus 500 ticket because I feel like I think 3-2 is when the pressure sets in where it's like, holy shit, we can't be the first team to ever let this happen. Like,
I totally agree.
You start compounding mistakes. We see it with college basketball. Obviously, these are professional athletes, but there's always that underdog feeling where it's like, even though they were the underdog and if they lost the series, it'd be
not anymore.
Big deal. Yeah, it's like once you're up 3-0 and then there's that pressure starts to build. Jimmy Butler's the most amazing player in the playoffs right now, but there's only so much you can do with this one guy if you have everybody else kind of, feeling the pressure as the series goes on.
Well, first of all, Caleb Martin would like a word about the best player in the series. But seriously, what's interesting is the you're not going to get a better Celtics ticket at 4-1. Obviously, it was already at 16-1. So, like, it's for those of you who are thinking about it, like what we talked about yesterday too was if the Nuggets face the Celtics, that means the Celtics just won 4 games in a row for the first time in NBA history. That means you might be able to get the Nuggets at like even money once that series starts, and you've already got 4-1 on the Celtics. It's like you're finding ways to guarantee yourself some money.
Yeah, I don't believe that the Celtics beat the Nuggets. Like the
I don't
Nuggets
either.
just look so good, and that home court advantage is just so unfair.
So
They
is there a
wouldn't
way to
have it
play
though.
this?
Celtics would have game 1 and game
No,
7
no,
at
not
home.
not
I
home
know what
court
you mean. I
advantage.
know.
Like, yeah, in the series. I mean, I don't think they're losing at home. Like Boston's not going to steal one.
Yeah.
They could. I
Agreed,
think they
but
could
like
steal one in Boston. Boston has a pretty poor home record.
It's crazy. I
Yeah.
can't explain it.
So
Don't
under
understand.
500. Is it worth it to like sort of like monitor this minus 210 for the Nuggets then and go, okay, it's only going to go down. So maybe the Celtics win one more. I can get it at minus 150. Celtics win another. I can get it at minus 125. You know what I mean? Just kind of like monitor it a couple times. Seems like it might be worth it.
yeah, I think I agree with that.
Because they're, like you said, like if we all think the Nuggets are going up 1-0, whoever they play, right? So that means after that
I wouldn't
game,
go
you're
that
not
far.
getting a
I
better
wouldn't
price.
go that far.
No.
I think the way to play, honestly, and we talked about this the other day. I don't think you guys agreed with it. DraftKings has the prop. Will there be 2 more game 7s in the playoffs plus 650? Well, if Boston's going to win, it's obviously got to be 7. I could see Denver, Miami being. I could see Denver, Boston being a 7-game series. I know Denver's the hot team right now, but 3 more Boston wins. If Boston actually does pull this off, like you're saying, Josh, there's going to be like, oh my God, Boston just came back from 3-0. They're home for game. There's going to be a renewed optimism, I think, for Boston.
That is true.
I wouldn't be shocked if that series went 7. I mean, it's going to be a toss-up series according to the market. I don't think at plus 650. I don't think it's a bad bet.
But see, just to finish that point real quick, like that, the way I'm thinking about it, the way you're talking about it, Will, is this. I think this the same, but the way that I'm playing it is actually okay. Well, then I still like Denver no matter what. So I'm just going to keep waiting for the odds to continue to fall in my favor. But I guess I feel a little bit more confident that they're for sure going up 1-0, and then you're not going to get better odds for them to win the series.
I will say if Boston does pull this off, and it's one of the craziest things you've ever seen, the only worry I have is it's going to come down to coaching to see how it goes. It's either going to be a big letdown or like an escalator. And
I want to see what the pricing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people are just going to, I don't even think that the books are even going to be able to handle the amount of money that's coming in on Boston. Like, Boston's already a popular team. Now, if they just defy history and make it to the NBA Finals, you're going to see people betting that like wildfire.
Oh, I don't know, though. I don't know. There's enough Denver optimism. Like, we're all just talking about now about how much we love Denver. I think it'll be pretty balanced. I think it's fascinating, just the psychology, the human psychology of it. Of like, Denver it wasn't a dominant sweep, but it was a sweep of the Lakers. But they've had a week off, and now Boston was. People were as cold on Boston as you could be, but then they win 4 in a row. Like, I'm curious how that balances out. I do think it'll be balanced action, but I'm not positive.
But I just think like when it comes to the NBA Finals, we're gonna get so many people who haven't bet a single series price all NBA. They probably only watched like 4 to 3 games. All they're gonna hear is the headlines aren't gonna say anything about Denver. They haven't said anything about Denver so far. They just swept the Lakers. And you're just they're gonna be so much casual money on the Celtics. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm just saying I want to see how that impacts it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things too where you can have 2 really smart people watch every minute of every single basketball game and then put them in a room and say, who do you like in this series? And you can get 2 totally different things, like 2 totally different answers. So it's one of those things where I think it'll be kind of even, but I think that you also got to factor in there's probably money already coming in on Denver, like because Josh was just saying the same thing where like bet them down. I wouldn't be surprised if people are almost just taking Denver early and being as confident. I wouldn't do it with the juice, but I'm just saying wouldn't be surprised if that's already happening.
Let's just go around the horn. If Denver plays Boston in the finals, who would you pick to win in how many games, Josh?
Yeah, I'm still taking Denver. And I honestly think I would see if the juice of 5 was worth it.
So you'd pick Denver in 5 over Boston? Wow.
I mean, altitude, everybody, is science. It's not something that we should ask, is altitude a real thing? It's just science. And so like, I think it's going to impact a team that just had to win 4 games in a row, even if they have some depth. Like we've seen, they actually don't. Like who's been good outside of like 7 players. So either way, like, I'm just continuing to ride Denver, and I am playing them like a stock where I love this stock, and can't wait for everybody to like it less and less moving forward, so I can just keep hitting it at different price points.
Yeah, I would probably, I'm going Denver in 6.
That was really confident. That sounded really confident. You really sounded like that was. You
shouldn't be confident. They're pretty even teams.
As you guys can see,
I agree.
I've been pretty bad about picking how many games these series have gone.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
that was
you,
a
you
big
said the
jump.
Knicks were going 8, and then that was
Yeah, I was
crazy.
like, I think it's an 8, and I said they're going to set a new record, never done before.
Yeah. I honestly, if it comes down to Boston and Denver, I'm probably taking the team with the best player. So I trust Grant Williams in this spot, and I'd probably,
Yeah.
I would say I would lean. I would say 7. Like, can I just say it goes 7? Like, I think that'd be
Yeah,
a really
yeah,
good
I'm with
series.
you.
Like I don't even know. I think it's one of those things you can enjoy sports without betting on it. If I don't have any bets on the finals and it is Boston Nuggets, I'm gonna watch every single game and be super invested in either way.
That's cool for your betting, but for the sake of the show, you have to pick a winner in games. You're not putting money on it, so you're not
Oh
risking
no,
anything.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Who would you
saying
pick?
it's. I think I would probably, as I said, I'd lean Boston. That's where I'd say, but I would say just 7 games. I think it'd be a really fun series.
I would say Denver in 7, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was Boston 7. I think it'd be a long series. All right, we'll do the same thing. Denver, Miami. Josh, who would you pick? How many games? Sounds like Denver in 4 or 5.
Yeah, one of those two for sure. So like I think Miami's run is predicated on like there being massive holes in every team they've played. Like I love them. Honestly, I can't believe I love them. I'm a freaking Knicks fan. I used to loathe this team and this whole franchise. But like I love so many of the players on this team, and Jimmy Butler is absolutely a wonderful human being on top of an incredible basketball player. So like I'm rooting hard for them, but I'm not even like going, oh well, they suck against the Nuggets or they lost however many in a row to the Nuggets, 6 in a row, whatever. Like, yeah, that's part of it. There's a reason for that. Like Denver doesn't have any holes. And I kind of just made my mind up when I hit them at plus 240 to win it all before they started that Lakers series. I was like, all right, I'm done fooling around. Like, I don't think this is clearly actually the best team in the NBA. And I think there's a little bit of that like Warriors stuff where we were like, the Warriors can't win a finals. We never saw them do this before.
Yeah,
This
it's a
is
good
weird.
point. It's an unconventional superstar. There's a lot of similarities. I agree.
Yeah, no, Steph was that good, and also, by the way, like Joker is that good. So
Yep.
I made my mind up, and I'm just gonna stick to it. Kind of like Brian was saying, like I'll just go down with the ship. If, like,
So you'd say Denver in 5, no matter who they played, or
Yeah, I
4?
guess
Would you
so.
pick 4 in Denver?
Let me just do that right now. Yeah, I would for sure like see what the sweep juice was for sure.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if it is the Heat, I'd probably root for the Heat. I have trouble rooting for Boston, but this Heat team, like, come on, how fun would that be if they could win it all? Like that there is something there for that.
That would be crazy, and I would win my 2 Heats future bets. So
What would you pick? What would you guys pick though if it's Denver, Miami? Who wins how many games?
I go Denver in 5.
Yeah, so would I.
I would go 5 or 6. I think this. I'd be a Denver's advocate. I'd go 6. I think the Heat have enough to maybe steal 1 or 2.
And if, to your point, dude, if 6 was like plus 70, or I'm sorry, 7 to 1 or whatever, because that's the least likely scenario that they continue to get that juice for them winning on the road like that.
Yeah,
that would be worth it too.
Probably wouldn't be that high. I don't think they.
You don't think so? You don't think you get 6 or 7?
and
7 to 1, maybe 6 to 1 to Denver to win in 6. No,
It's still
because
Denver. It would still be heavy favorites for Denver.
maybe
Yeah.
550, maybe 6 at the highest. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Will, what do you think Denver's series price is if the Heat make it to the finals, like the opening series price?
270, 275.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Josh made a good point. This is a show. We talk a lot about betting, and value comes into a lot. So just because you like something, it's about the number. So if I got a good number on the game, like just to go 6 in a Miami Denver series, I'd probably look to play it.
And I don't know. They'd have an answer for Jokic. I just don't know that they have enough offense.
Poor Bam.
Yeah.
Just swallowed by the mass that is.
Yeah. I will say thank God Boston did win the other night, not just for my bets, but Bam, we'd be talking about. We'd have a week off. We'd have nothing to talk about. We'd be sitting here talking about Heat Nuggets for the next week.
Probably Brian or like Brad's golf game or something at this point.
Yeah. Honestly,
Brad's fantasy golf.
We'd be talking about how Ches Reavie and Tom Hoagie are 3 strokes back of Harry Hall.
I have a little Hoagie. I bet a little Hoagie too. Hoagie won for me a year ago, so once in a while I just bet him.
Yeah, I'm a huge Hoagie believer. And he's from Texas too, so not from Texas, but he went to TCU.
Nice. Yeah. Honestly, if we didn't have any games, I wanted to bring this up to wrap up the show, just to piss off Will, because Will has this thing where he just hates certain ideas, and I saw this when I was scrolling through DraftKings earlier. They now have a tab for 2023 NBA specials where you can bet the Spurs win total at 35, 40, or 45, but there's no under option.
Oh,
like
God.
they only give it to you at like plus 200 for 35 wins, plus like
dog. Imagine this starting lineup: Keldon Johnson, Austin Reeves, Victor Wembanyama. I don't know, man.
By the way, the game 7 prop, it was 650. It's down to 6-1. So
nice. I just know Will loves markets where there's only one side to bet.
I hate that bullshit. I hate that bullshit.
That's Will's favorite.
This is what I thought you were gonna say. They do have the odds to win next year's title. Let me run some of these by you. See if you guys.
I know.
Here
Denver's first.
Please give me Denver.
Yep, Denver 5-1, Boston plus 550, Milwaukee plus 650, Suns plus 850, Lakers 10-1, Warriors 12-1. The fucking 76ers 13-1. No, please, no, not again.
God, no.
Clippers 15-1, Heat 18-1, Memphis 19-1 is interesting. Dallas 20-1, Cleveland 25-1, Pelicans 35.
I'm going Dallas.
No, stop.
Pelicans 30, Kings 30, Knicks 45, Hawks 50, T-Wolves 50, Raptors 60, OKC 70. They're going to be up there soon. They're not there yet.
I don't know. 70,
That's 90. Blazers 100-1. Could they trade for someone? I guess that's the thing is who could make a
no
trade to get
Blazers need like to trade a ton of people.
Yeah,
like, I'm not.
New York Knicks 90-1.
No, 45-1
Oh, okay. Real quick, you said Phillies 13-1. What if Phillies not to make the fucking playoffs number?
I mean, Harden's gone, and
that's what I want.
Embiid might go to the Heat. Like this team could be.
Why the Heat? Shit. What do you mean? Why do you say the Heat?
That's the rumor I keep seeing.
I haven't seen that anywhere. What would that trade? Yeah. What would that trade be?
It was like Bam and Hero and other pieces. I will say I wouldn't be so super surprised, only because him and Jimmy Butler are so close that like in this NBA you can kind of just pick who you want to play with. Like it's so funny how you almost be like, hey, I like you. I'm gonna do everything possible to play with you, and it just like happens.
That you're right, but that doesn't seem like enough for Embiid. If you're gonna, and here's the thing: if you're gonna trade Embiid, you're gonna just take you're gonna take picks, you're gonna tank basically. What does Adebayo get you? Adebayo is your best player. Like he's a nice player.
Yeah, because Harden's gone too, right? Like so, you're
I think
like Maxi's our centerpiece now, and we start.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a good future. I'm just saying I'm at the point where if Harden doesn't come back, we don't make any signing, we bring back Tobias Harris. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you wouldn't want to be a part of that. I
think the team that could trade for him is the Knicks. The Knicks have the assets, they have the picks, they have a group of young players.
Jalen Brunson would be kind of nice though.
Yeah,
and Mitchell Robinson though.
I mean, would Portland have enough? I know we've talked about this before. Would the third pick in the draft be enough with future picks and some young players and whatever Sharp and
what's crazy is all the Celtics fans literally like, what time is it? Like 48 hours ago, were like, what's Anthony Simons in the third round pick get? What do we need for that, Jalen?
Yeah,
like,
right. Cool. You know, like that was less than 2 days ago.
Yeah. Yep, change is quick.
But that's out there for somebody is Anthony Simons, Nurkic, or whomever the hell else you want with the third overall pick, which I don't think is going to be Scoop, but maybe it is. So
yeah, I mean, what could Portland? Here's the thing with Portland, like Brad said, they're not close enough where they could actually win a championship. But at 100-1, do they trade? Could they trade for like Bridges? Then all of a sudden they're like 50 or 60-1, and you get a decent. I don't know. You got a playoff team here. That's all you want at 100-1, a team that could be in the playoffs, maybe, make the second round, and then you need an injury. You know what I mean? Where you're just getting ahead of the number. Again, it's probably a stretch, but
can I say, like, if Denver wins the finals, like I think they do, there's no way they're 5-1 to win the title after that, right? It's more like 3. So
no, 3 would be short.
You still think it's close to 5?
Other good teams, probably. Maybe.
Well, I just feel like the West is more wide
4,
open. Like we don't know when Ja's going to come back. By the
Right.
way, that's one less team.
Yeah.
The Warriors, I don't know, man. The Suns, if we got to see what they do, because like if they do figure out how to fill out a roster around those two, fine, whatever. I think CP3 is going to be window, but I think it's a little more wide open than we thought it was even coming into this year for them because of how good I think KCP and Bruce Brown are at this point with that squad.
McAfee likes the Clippers, I'm sure.
Yeah, McAfee, he probably already bet them. He did
a 2-team parlay next year and 2 years from now to win both titles.
I will say, one of my friends, like, he asked me, he said, it was like, how would you, because he knows I just do this all the time, like talk about sports, and he's like kind of, like I said, more casual, a different friend, but he was like, how would you feel like if the Sixers did like a sign and trade Harden for CP3? And I was like, dude, don't even. I was like, I don't even know, man.
Yeah.
he was like, would you be a fan of that? And I was like, I'd probably stop watching the NBA. Like, I was like,
I think I'd rather have Paul than Harden. I don't know. I mean, it depends. I don't want to give Harden years in money.
I'm
No.
not saying that. I just think the idea of
Yeah.
signing and trade and picking up that contract
Yeah.
on top of Tobias Harris. Like, what's the team going to be? Those three, and then I guess Brad's going to come out for summer league. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Paul.
All right. Before we get out of here, who wins and who covers tonight?
Boston wins. Boston covers.
When you go
Well,
Boston,
wait,
how
do they
about
cover
this?
do they cover the new line? Because I think it's all the way to 8.5 now. I told you if it gets to 9, I'm gonna play Miami. Like I liked the 7.5, but
it's minus 105 at 8 for Miami on DraftKings. It's probably
Just to piss Josh off, I'm going to say Boston by 9 on bullshit free throws. Like you didn't have to foul at the end of the game, but they're gonna foul anyway with like a second left.
yeah.
Gosh, who wins? Who covers?
Miami covers. Boston wins, but I'm gonna look like such an idiot after this. They don't, and then I was such a and you get what I'm saying.
Boston wins, Miami covers. I'll go. Look, that works for me. That really works for me. I would love 3 Boston 1-point wins and win the series, man. I would be sitting on a fat stack of cash.
I just want points, dude. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm literally going Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Derek White, Jimmy Butler rebounds and points and rebounds, like Jason Tatum points and rebounds. I'm just on those 5 especially. I'm going pretty hard. Plus the Miami Heat over 103.5. So that's pretty much where my action is tonight.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you to Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks. We will be back Monday, I think. I don't think we have any weekend shows. So good luck with all your plays. Maybe I guess let me ask you one more thing before we go. Are we sitting here Monday talking about a game 7? That's the question.
I know you'd want that. I know you'd be. I think we'd all want
We'll
that.
be
Honestly.
happy. I think I want it.
happy.
I want it for sure.
Yeah, I
say
think
no.
Are we
Make
getting
it
it?
fun.
No. Do you think we're talking about that Monday?
I think
I'm gonna
we'll,
reverse jinx it and say no.
Okay.
All right. I think there's a 60-40 chance we are saying yes to it.
Yeah.
Then you might as well hit that
want to just sit on the
61
fence. You won't just.
2-7.
I can't get a straight answer out of Brian today. Everything's couch.
Brian-
60-40.
Brian doesn't want to be wrong, and someone
I
comes back
know,
and
my
like, Brian,
goodness.
what the hell, dude?
No, I just think this is one of those things where I think 60-40 is fair. I mean, you're talking winning 3 straight. I think, like I said, this game I think's Boston.
2 straight to get to 7. All you need is 2 anymore.
Yeah,
That one's already in the bank.
I'm just saying, but this game I think we get it. It's going to be handling business Memorial Day weekend in Miami.
Yep.
If you genuinely think it's 3-2 with the likelihood that we see a game 7 in this series, Will's 6.5 to 1 for 2 game 7s is fucking awesome, and we should be talking about that a little bit more.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a proxy for if you think Boston's live here, because that makes the game 7 in the finals even more likely. If Boston gets the game 7 here, they're likely to win it.
They
And
know
then
they can
Denver,
do it.
Boston's very strong at 7. I like that bet. I'm going to bet that.
You're smart, wicked smart.
All right, boys. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Good luck with all your plays. Thank you to Pickett, Sleeper. We will talk to you guys then.